Hey guys, and welcome back to the TaterTot Makes channel and podcast. I am Autumn, and I am your host for the TaterTot Makes podcast and the creator behind TaterTot Makes on Instagram and Etsy. I feel really out of balance with this podcast because I recorded like 45 minutes on Friday and I was really confident with everything I had to say, and I went to edit it and I recorded it in slow motion and it had no audio. So it is now Sunday, April 28th. Yeah. And I'm trying to redo it. So I'm feeling like deja vu and also trying to remember everything I talked about because I shredded my show notes after I edited the podcast, or after I had finished recording the podcast, but before I edited the podcast. So this will be the one that I recorded twice, and hopefully I don't miss anything. And if I did, then I guess I'll talk about it next time. Anyway, so I am coming to you from Southern Idaho, where I live with my husband and our two dogs, Hera and Sage, and our two cats, Poppy and Nori. I actually shut the craft room door so that the cats can't come in because they were naughty on Friday when I tried to record it the first time, so I'm not taking any risks this time. And the dogs are outside because they, specifically Sage, likes to bark at me while I record because I think she's either crazy that I'm talking to myself or that she thinks I'm talking to her and she wants to continue the conversation. So anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling, and I guess to start out, the biggest thing is I got a haircut. So I decided to get some bangs and chop it off. It was like probably mid back, and it was really heavy, and I always just had it in a ponytail because it was a lot to take care of, and so I chopped it off. So right now it's just in a clip. And yeah, so this side of my bangs isn't really wanting to cooperate today, but we're gonna work with it. So yeah, I didn't really understand the whole butterfly clip thing that is going on right now, but ever since I chopped it off, I totally understand. These are amazing. Why have I never done this before? So anyway, I guess that's the biggest shocking change. So now that I've talked about that, I think I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee and then we'll get right into the crafty bits of the podcast. So just to show you my new mug, it says one plant short of crazy. It's big and fits all of my coffee, so I'm a happy camper. Anyway, let's get going. So I do have a finished object this week, and it's not a knitted finished object, and I will go into more about that in the works in progress section because we had a little snafu. So anyway, finished object. I made a fleece minky tied blanket. So Brianna, if you're watching, can you just not watch any of this podcast until after I tell you to? Because a lot of this is gifts for you and your children. So don't watch. Okay, now that Brianna's gone, I made, if I could show you the right way up, this blanket to give to her daughter. So her little baby is the one I'm knitting that baby blanket for, and he's got an older sister, so I always try to make something for the older sibling because I was the older sibling, and I remember feeling a little left out when my sister came along. So I always try to make something for the older siblings because they need to feel included too. So anyway, made a rainbow blanket, and it's got the bumpy minky backing. I just laid it out on the floor of my craft room and cut the fringe and then tied it. So it was a quick finished object, but it was so satisfying, and I've had this fabric in my stash for a really long time, so it was a perfect opportunity to get it used, and I think it's gonna go to a good home, and I'm excited to have everything put together and give those gifts to them. So I'm sure I had a lot more to say about this on Friday when I recorded it to begin with, but I don't remember everything. So yeah, just it's probably about 2 yards of fabric for the front and the back. Yeah, it was fun. I love making tied blankets, especially as a quick kind of instant gratification make, but the problem is sitting on the floor kills my hips, so I only do it sparingly, but by making this one, I feel like I want to make 1,000. And I have enough fabric to do that, so yeah, it'll be fun. But anyway, that's my one finished object. Nothing knitted, but still counts, I think. So yeah. Next we'll move on to works in progress. And I have really not a whole lot to show as far as progress if you've watched from my last episode, but there's a whole story. So start with the first one. In one of the bags that I have in my shop, if something on a bag doesn't turn out quite right, then I just keep it for myself because it's perfectly functional, but I wouldn't feel comfortable selling it or anything. So that's why if you see some of these bags that I use that I've made that aren't necessarily in the shop, it's because something went wrong in the process. And so I keep it. So this is the baby blanket, the rainbow baby blanket. And I worked on it a little bit since Friday, so I guess there is some more progress to show than when I recorded, which I guess is maybe a light in this having to record 2 times situation. But if you recall, I don't remember exactly where I was at when I first showed you, or when I showed you this the last time. But it's like a rainbow gradient blanket that I'm knitting corner to corner, so I'm started with 3 stitches and I've just increased every row until I get to halfway through the yarn, and then I started decreasing. Well, I was increasing along and I got to the end of the, so the way it works is this is pure purple, and then it starts to gradient, purple blue. So there's 3 sections of purple blue, and then there's 3 sections of purple or blue green, then green yellow, yellow orange, yada yada yada. So I forgot though that it goes from yellow green, yellow orange, orange red, and then it ends in just a solid section of red so that it'll match the solid section of purple. Makes sense for a rainbow, right? So I thought I had counted enough color changes so that when I got to the end of the blue-green section that was this point that I needed to start to decrease. So I did that. Well, I started decreasing, right? So it was like this now. This is the point. I got through all of the green section, the green-yellow section, just started the yellow-orange, and I looked at my cake of yarn that I had left, which was substantially more than this is right now, and I was like, that's a lot more yarn than I should have left if I'm halfway through the blanket. How does that work? So then I went back through and was counting the color changes in this skein, and I realized that I had started decreasing too soon. I should have finished more of the green yellow section before I started decreasing. So I thought, okay, well, that's okay. I'll just take out my needles and I'll pick up the stitches. I'll take out my needles, rip back to the point where I started decreasing right here, and then pick up the stitches and keep increasing until I get to the right color change to start decreasing. Makes sense, right? It should be easy peasy. I can get this done in a couple hours. So I did that. Well, when I got down to the point where I needed to start picking up, I guess I should show you I'm holding this yarn double. I have 2 cakes of this rainbow gradient that I wound double. I don't know if you can see how the stitches, there's 2 strands per stitch. So when I went to pick up that row so I could start knitting again, it was really difficult because I was either picking up just one strand out of the double strands on each stitch, or I was picking up through a ply of one or both strands of yarn on each stitch. And so the line that I picked up was just hideous. And I thought, well, I could knit as I go, and on each stitch, you know, take my crochet hook and pick it up and fix it. But it was so tedious, and the yarn was kind of coming undone where I had knit between the plies of a strand of yarn. So I got frustrated and I ripped it all the way out. All the way. So pretty much from right about here, minus that increase, all the way out. I had nothing left. So I started again that night with 3 stitches at the tip, just like I had months ago, because I didn't want it to linger. I didn't want to stay frustrated at it and let it linger and never pick it up again, because I want this finished object done. I want to gift it to my friend. That baby is already here and ready, so it needs this blanket to be done. So yeah, so I have just been diligently working on increasing until I finally got to the right amount of yarn that I needed to be at to start decreasing, which was halfway through the middle section of the green yellow color change. So now I've completed the green yellow, I'm decreasing, and I just started the last color change of orange yellow. Yeah, orange yellow. So now I'll go into the orange red, and then I'll just have red. So including this color change, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors? Yeah, 5 colors left before I'm done. So I think it's turning out beautiful. I'm really happy that I did rip it out, because I had thought, well, maybe I'll just cut the color short, but then it wouldn't be right, because the last color is a solid, and it's a solid on this end, so that would be silly to have just a solid on this end and then have no solid red on the end, the other end. So I'm glad I did it. I think it's turning out really well now. And note to self, count your color changes better, and maybe make note of where you need to start decreasing in the colors. Mental note for next time. Anyway, I'll let you see the whole thing if I can show it. Yeah. So I would love to have this done soon, but we'll see. It seems to be going a lot faster now that I'm decreasing every round. So yeah, this is also partially why I kind of went MIA in March with the podcast, because I was shooting to do this podcast every month. So that means I should have done one in the first weekend of March and the first weekend of April. Well, now it's basically the first weekend of May, so I guess I'm going MIA for 2 months. But that's because I didn't really have a whole lot of progress to show on anything other than that I had ripped this out and started over, because that's all I've worked on as far as knitting. So, sorry for going MIA, but it had to be done. There was no progress to show on anything except my sad story about having to start over. So, anyway, I'm hoping the next time, no, I'm not hoping. Next time I podcast, this will be a finished object. It'll be blocked, it'll have the ends woven in, and then it'll be great. So, I am going to go over my other works in progress that I have because I want to show that I haven't done anything. And also, maybe it will give me some motivation to keep working on this blanket and get it done. So, next up is, I guess that's a lie. I did start one thing between when I last podcasted, and that was just a corner-to-corner dishcloth. And I started this because recently my husband bought me a kayak so that I could go kayaking with him. And me being me, I can't sit and not knit. And kayaking, there's a lot of sitting. So I had to start something that I could bring that would be super portable. You know, I wouldn't be worried about it getting gross river water on it or anything like that. So I just picked out a skein of cotton yarn that I had for dishcloths, and I cast on while I was out there on the water. So this is Dishy Twist by Knit Picks in the colorway Conch 28247. I had bought a kit that has all of the Dishy Twist colors in it, and I thought, well, that'll make a cute set of like dishcloths or dish towels or something. So that's what I'm gonna do. And haven't made a whole lot of progress on this. We've gone out twice, but that's kind of the nature of it. I don't know when this will be done. I have no plans to hurry up and get it done. It just kind of sits in this bag until we decide to go kayaking, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much progress gets made on it. It is spring, even though it doesn't really feel like it outside right now, and summer will be coming, so hopefully we get a lot more time to do that sort of stuff, and we'll see some progress on this, but I'm not gonna put any pressure on myself to get it finished super soon. So that is the one thing that I cast on since the last episode, but it works out really good because I can paddle upriver and just kind of sit and then float and knit my way down back to Merrick at the river, and then once I get back to him, I paddle back up, float and knit back down. Works out great. So that's fun. So next up is my Christmas Eve cast on socks, which I didn't even put away properly after I recorded on Friday, but I'm doing the London Bee Ridge pattern on the front and then just plain vanilla on the back. You can't really tell, you can't really see the pattern on, oh there, maybe it's a little bit better. Cover my face. It's just got a ribbed pattern. Keeps it kind of interesting. The color is beautiful. This yarn is Gingerbread House by Jude of Stranded Dye Works, who is no longer dyeing, sadly. And then the heel was just a contrasting skein that I bought. What is this? Cascade? Heritage? DK? I don't remember. Is the tag in here? No. It's on my project pages in Ravelry though, and if you really want to know what it is and can't find it on my project page, I would be happy to just leave me a comment and I'll I'll find it and message you. But I haven't touched these in months, but I'm hoping to change that soon, and I will get into more details about that later in the podcast. But just for full transparency, it is not done. It has not been worked on, but I still love it and I want it done. I haven't finished the first sock. This is the first sock. So must make progress on that soon, because I would like to wear each of the pairs of socks that I have started. I would like to wear them once before it gets too hot to wear woolly socks. Next up is another pair of socks, and I have finished the first one on these. This yarn is fully spun in the Ice Dreamer? Ice Dancer? I don't remember what it's called exactly. But I am doing the Hermione's Everyday sock pattern along, and it's just a gradient skein, fish lips, kiss heel, 1x1 twisted rib. I always knit my socks cuff down because I don't like if I knit a sock toe up, I don't like the bind off on the cuff. I think it looks like a chef's hat, kind of. It like poofs around the top, and I don't like that look. So anyway, the first sock is done. Once again, I haven't touched these either because I spent all of my knitting time remaking the blanket. But I have started the second sock. It is on the needles. I'm probably halfway. Yeah, halfway done with the cuffs, maybe a little bit more than half. But yeah, I want to get these done soon too, because I cast these on for ice fishing knitting while we were ice fishing this winter. And like I said before, I would like to have it finished and at least wear them once before it gets too warm. So yes, another pair of socks. And then the last work in progress that I have is my sweater, which I haven't touched. Maybe that should be the title of the podcast. Whips I haven't touched in 2 months. This is my No Frill Sweater by Petite Knit, and I can't remember if I worked on this a little bit after I recorded the last podcast. I might have put some work into the body of the sweater, but I don't remember for sure. But if I did, it's probably not enough for you to notice, so I haven't worked on it. But I still love it. It's so soft, and I have a feeling that maybe I put that stitch marker there to show me where I was at when I podcasted, and then I knit that much, but that seems like a lot more than I remember. So you tell me, did I work on this since I last recorded? Does the body look longer? I don't recall. It's being knit out of Knit Picks Kindred DK Weight in the cargo colorway. It's this beautiful marled olivey tan. The olive color is 68% baby alpaca, and then the tan is the 32% Peruvian Pima cotton. So I think it'll be super wearable, even in the summer maybe, because I always have long sleeves on because I freeze, especially in the summer because of the AC that's on. So I think that this would be super cute to wear to work. Maybe dress it up with a nice pair of pants and maybe a vest or something, a light vest, just because I get cold. So I would like to have this done here soon. But we'll see. We will see. So that's where I'm at on that one. I don't really have anything more to say. And that is all of my works in progress. So because I don't have a ton of new knitting to talk about, I thought I would go over some things that I kind of found as I was stash diving for fabric and trying to get some of that used. So, ow. The Tide blanket kind of lit a fire for me, and I wanted to make a ton more of these. So I went stash diving in my tote of fleece and minky fabric. And I came across this, which my nail lady is gonna be a grandma here soon to a little girl. So I thought, well, normally my MO is I knit a baby blanket and they get usually a knitted baby blanket and some booties. But I don't have a ton of time to knit a whole nother baby blanket now that I have knit the rainbow blanket twice. So I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't put that pressure on myself, but then I was feeling guilty that I wasn't gonna give something when I love to do that for new babies. But when I was digging out the rainbow fleece, I came across this that I had bought several years ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago. And I even bought the backing for it too. Just a gray minky. So I thought, perfect. I will just tie that up and gift that instead with a pair of booties. So I've laid them out so I don't forget about it. And maybe even this afternoon I might get this tied up, or maybe at least cut, because I can always just shut the craft room door and don't let the animals in until it's done if I need to stop halfway through. So yeah, this will be a finished object probably on the next podcast, if not sooner. So yeah, I found that one. And then also I had this hot pink minky with these neon mushrooms, which I thought would be super cute to gift to the mama of the rainbow blanket and the Tide blanket, because she's really into mushroom themes at the moment. The baby's what do you call that? Baby shower was mushroom forest themed. So I thought it would be cute, since I had this, to get it tied up and give it to the mama, who probably needs something maybe a little special for her right now too. Even though I know that she loves that little baby more than anything. We got some baby cuddles at work the other day when she stopped by. So yeah, I'd like that to be complete too. Maybe next time. Maybe next time the podcast will be nothing but finished objects. That would be fun. So the next thing I'm gonna talk about is my travel knitting plans. So just recently my husband and I decided to take a trip to Montana to see my in-laws, and we're going to be gone for about 6 days. We're going to yarn crawl and fish our way from southern Idaho to Billings, Montana. So we're gonna spend the night halfway through and kind of meander our way up there and take our time. So I'm assuming that's a lot of knitting time, because of course he's gonna drive and I'll get to be the passenger princess. So that means a lot of knitting time, which is what I was kind of alluding to earlier in the podcast about finishing those pairs of socks. I'm definitely going to, well, I can't say definitely because it's Sunday now. I would love to have the rainbow blanket finished before we leave, but I don't know if that's going to happen because my knitting time during the week after work can be limited and I'm usually really tired. So If I don't finish that, I will definitely bring the blanket and get it hopefully finished during the trip. Whether or not I finish the blanket or not, I'm definitely going to bring those socks. And if I finish the blanket before, then I will work on those socks. If I don't finish the blanket, then once the blanket's finished during the trip, because I really don't think it'll take too much longer to get it finished up, then I'm going to work on those socks. So my very lofty goal is to have the rainbow blanket finished before we leave. Check. Finish the fully spun ice streamer socks, the one that I had finished one sock already. Check. Next, I would like to finish my Christmas Eve cast on socks. And then, because I'm overly ambitious in these things, I've picked out some yarn to take with me in case, I have so much time that I just finish all of those projects and need something else to do. So, without further ado, I picked out this skein, which is like a gray with these neon like stripes pulled in. This yarn is Socks That Rock in it's a Supernatural Thing colorway. Now, I have a lot of options with this yarn. There's 405 yards of this main color. So I have some options. I can either knit socks like halfway through to my calf length socks, kind of like the ones that I've been knitting with this, and still have a ton of leftover, probably enough to make a pair of long socks and a pair of shorty socks. I could definitely get it out of this, especially if I do contrasting cuff heels toes. But I picked out these leftovers that I had in my stash because I thought they went really well. How am I going to show this? And I could knit 3 pairs of shorty socks. Like one pair will have green cuff heels toes, the second pair will have purple cuff heel toes, and I could probably get 3 pairs, so 6 total shorty socks out of this. But I do really enjoy long socks, especially in the winter. So maybe I could do like this is the cuff, this is the heel, this is the toe on a long pair of socks, and then see how much I have of this left and then decide what I want to do from there. That's probably the route I will go, but I have a lot of options. But the funny thing that I came to realize is I bought this yarn in Billings when I very first started knitting at a yarn shop called The Wild Pearl, which is no longer open. There is a beautiful yarn shop there called The Yarn Bar, which I will absolutely be visiting because I have a gift card that I've been saving. But so it'd be kind of fun to take this on this trip and get it finished, and go kind of full circle with this skein that I bought there many years ago. So that's one thing. And because I went diving in my leftover yarn for these, I kind of came across a bunch of leftovers that I had, and I keep pretty much all of the sock yarn fingering weight leftovers for baby booties to be made. So I filled up this bag that I made. It was actually my very first bag that I made in the shop, and it has so many mistakes, but I love it, and I'll use it till it absolutely falls apart, and then I'll probably fix it and continue using it. So I don't even know how I'm going to show you all of this. I have so many leftovers in here that I want to make some baby booties out of, because when I found that fabric, the elephant fabric, I thought, oh well, I have a bunch of baby booties made. I'll just pick some from that, and then they'll be ready to go as soon as I have that blanket tied. Well, I realized that I only had 3 pairs of baby booties left, and I forgot to grab them for the podcast, so hang on, I'm gonna grab them really quick. Okay, I'm back. So I have these ones made. I have these ones. And they have these ones. So they're all kind of girly themed, which is fine. My nail lady's granddaughter or grandbaby is going to be a girl, so they would work for that, but it's always good to have all sorts of colors and options available for babies. So I pulled out a ton of yarn. I've got some rainbow yarn, some kind of blue, gray, green, gradient yarn leftovers. I don't even know what this, kind of a moody, there we go, moody color. I don't remember what this, I made socks out of it, but I don't remember what the colorway is called. Some neutrals to maybe pair with some of the other fun skeins in here. So my plan is that if all else fails, I can, greens and purples, knit baby booties. If I absolutely run out of yarn between a baby blanket that I might bring, 2 pairs of socks, the Supernatural socks, all in 6 days. If I get all of that done, I'm gonna bring this so that I have even more things to knit. Even though I'm going yarn shopping while there, and I guess I could always pick up yarn if it's an emergency. But yeah, this is what I do. I make travel plans with more than enough knitting to probably last me a month, but I'm banking on a ton of time to knit. So, yeah. Baby booties may or may not happen, but this whole bag is full. I guess part of this being done is I have to finish one of the pairs of socks that I have, because those are my only 2 pairs of sock knitting needles that I really enjoy using right now. So I need them to be able to cast on any booties anyway. So it'll be good to get those socks done. So speaking of yarn shopping, I know I have a ton of yarn, and I actually have some more yarn to show you that came in the mail since the last podcast, but I am on the hunt for something specific when I go yarn shopping. I'm looking for yarn to make a colorwork sweater, and I think it'll be best to do now while I can see the yarn in person, rather than buying it online and not being able to coordinate the colors how I want them to, because buying yarn online is the colors can be so different, which is perfectly fine, and I love buying yarn online, but for a colorwork sweater, I want to be able to put them all together, especially because this is going to be my first colorwork sweater, because the sweater that I started is my very first sweater. So is it a good idea to be planning a colorwork sweater when you haven't even finished your very first sweater? Probably not, but I'm going to do it anyway. I do have a ton of yarn, and I have quite a bit of sweater quantities worth of yarn, but nothing that coordinates together for a colorwork sweater like I want, or in the weight of yarn that I need. So that's kind of my one thing. I'm going to try to steer clear of all of the pretty one skein options that I know I'm going to fall in love with, but I have a whole cupboard that I'm looking at right now full of beautiful sock yarn, beautiful one skein kind of project yarn for hats, socks, scarves, mittens, all sorts. So that's going to be what I'm going to tunnel vision for, is yarn to make a colorwork sweater. So with that being said, I guess I should show you my acquisitions, because like I said, I did buy some yarn, but how could I not? It's stranded yarn, and Jude is no longer dying. So how could I not get some of his yarn? Yeah, I had to do it. This isn't everything. There's more. So much more. So, Jude announced that he was no longer going to be dying, so I went on his shop and kind of perused, and I've always wanted all of these colorways, actually, always. But he dies in Scotland, so sometimes shipping from Scotland can be expensive. But considering I'll never be able to get this again, I think it was well worth the price. So I got 3 skeins of this, which is the Plant Parent colorway on 75% merino, 25% nylon. And I hope you can't hear my neighbor weed eating or something in his lawn. I really hope not, but I apologize if you can. So I got 3 skeins of Plant Parent. I really wanted 4, but he only had 3 in the shop, which is perfectly fine and understandable. So I got this dark gray color, and this is Highway Code in the same base, 75% merino, 25% nylon. And I thought, well, I kind of love a minty green gray action. So I think I'll either do like mini stripes of gray in a cardigan, or maybe do like the cuffs and button band of a cardigan with this. I don't know exactly because I don't have a pattern picked out or anything, but yeah, had to get it. Sorry, not sorry. It's gonna be beautiful. So then he also had a sweater's quantity of this colorway. It's Antique is the colorway. And I couldn't say no because I have been drooling over this for months, maybe years. It's got teals, it's got burgundies. It's just gorgeous. So what I'm thinking is either a cardigan or a sweater, it doesn't matter. I don't know exactly. I'm thinking maybe the featherweight. Is that a cardigan? I can't remember the designer, but I actually think that both of these sets would be really cute for work, especially as cardigans, you know, with like a more plain top and then throw it over for a pop of color or pop of whatever. Like I said, I get really cold, so these will be perfect. They're lightweight, so they would be perfect for this summer when I freeze in the office. So yeah, those are my acquisitions. And then all I have left really is shop news and life news. So I guess we'll start with the shop. I did have an update in March, which went really well, and a lot of stuff sold out of the shop. And so I brought some of the things that are in the shop right now available. Some of the bags sold out, but I had a little bit of fabric left over, so I went ahead and whipped those up and got those back in the shop. And then I have some plans for new stuff coming. I just don't know exactly when I'm going to do the next shop update. Between work being really, really busy and our travel plans in the next couple months, it's going to be a little hit or miss, but I am going to try to have an update in the next month or 2. So, yeah, just some things available in the shop. I have this available in the bigger size, like this one, and then there's one that's, I call my sock sack, that is enough for like 1 skein. It's like half this big, and I have some like that to show you. And there's this one, some seashells on with some minty fabric. This one is only available in the bigger size like this. And then these are the smaller sock sack sizes, perfect for 1 skein or maybe 1 and some for contrasting colors, mini skeins or something. Cats and plants, tea and donuts and treats, doxies and sweaters, fox bunnies and acorns. So yeah, these are super cute. I'm happy that they're in the shop and that they were so well received when I did my shop update. But I do have some future plans because I went stash diving, fabric stash diving for all of that flannel and fleece. I came across some other stuff that I had tucked away, and I thought, wow, I forgot I had all of this beautiful fabric. So I'm gonna show you what I have planned to make for the shop. I have all of these fat quarters that I bought as a set a long time ago. And I love to use fat quarters for the DPN cozies because I can get about 4 per fat quarter. Well, 2 fat quarters because you need one for the lining, one for the inside, outside. So I pulled all of these out and I thought, well, how fun would that be to get some summery DPN cozies in the shop? And there's so many fun options. Like we've got some polka dots. Oops. Polka dots. I'll just show these kind of in a florals, tonals, pattern. Of course, I had to get the green pack because green is my favorite color. So this will make a lot of DPN cozies, and yeah, I just need some time to sit down and get everything cut and ironed and get ready to go. Once that's done, it goes pretty fast, but of course, right when I want to start sewing all the things again, I decide, hey, my machine needs a good service. So I took it to our local sewing center to get it serviced, and they actually got it turned around in a really short amount of time. I thought it was going to be like several weeks, but I think it was just 1 week. So it's back home and I need to give it a shot. I haven't turned it on since I got it back from being serviced, but I'm sure that it's going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to when we get back from our trip to get cracking on some of these. I love this fabric. Got some neons. And yeah, so that's the end of the DPN cozy fabric that I kind of had stashed away. And then I don't remember if I showed some of these or not, because I think some of it I had before I did my shop update in March, but I didn't quite get around to getting these made for that shop update. So I'm going to show them now, but I apologize because I might have shown them earlier. I'm kind of in a gnome phase, so all of this cute gnome fabric I of course had to get. So we've got some spring gnomes with that kind of limey green. And then coffee gnomes, because coffee is my life. Like a coffee lining. And then this one I'm super in love with. It's like a marbly, it reminds me of Play-Doh. Like when you were a kid and you would roll colors of Play-Doh together. Yeah, but I'm super in love with it. And I don't know, I hope this turns out like I want it to, because I couldn't quite find the right pink or the right orange or the right yellow to kind of match as a contrast. But I found this mango-y tangerine color, and I think it actually works quite well. I think it doesn't matchy match, but it complements the marbly-ness of that. So I'm not entirely sold on this being the lining, but I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think, if it works, if it doesn't. I need to take this to my mom because she is awesome at telling me if colors don't work, and see what she thinks. She'll watch this. Mom, let me know in the comments. Tangerine work or no? So yeah, that's my shop news. So that's really everything I have, except for maybe just a little bit of life stuff. We are busy, as always. Work is busy on every front. The dogs are awesome. The cats are awesome. We love our little family. The only thing is that we had to take Poppy to the vet on Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. It was definitely Thursday. Because she had a goopy runny eye and she was sneezing like crazy, and my My bangs don't want to cooperate. So I thought, oh my gosh, she's getting sick. She has like an upper respiratory infection. Before we leave for our trip, I don't want to leave her sick and yada, yada, yada. So we got her in on an appointment with our vet, and turns out she has allergies. And I say this with a smile because I have very bad allergies. And so does our dog Sage. She's very allergic to the point that she needs to have allergy drops, like oral allergy drops every night. And our other dog Hera is super sensitive to laundry detergent. We found that out. Nori, our cat, the fluffy cat, and I'll put videos of them all at the end of this so that you know who I'm talking about, but the fluffy cat, she has allergies to some sort of medicine. I can't remember exactly what it does, but they put like a medicine on her back. Is it like a tick medicine? I don't know. But she had hives after that happened. And so Poppy is the kitty that we found in a bush. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but we found her in a bush outside my work when she was like 4 or 6 weeks old. She was just a little teeny tiny baby. And we kept her and raised her, and she's just a little criminal now. But, yeah. So she has had to have eye drops for her goopy eyes because she has allergies. Because since it's been cooler at night, we've been, cooler all day, really. It hasn't been super hot. We keep the windows open because we like the breeze and the fresh air in the house. And turns out, with spring and all the pollen and stuff, the cat is allergic. So I can just hear my father-in-law laughing about this because he does watch this podcast, and can't wait for those conversations when we come see you. But yeah, anyway, it was a good time. I'm glad that she wasn't really sick and it's just allergies and we've got it taken care of and we're good to go. But yeah, that's kind of been our life since I last recorded. Lots of work, re-knitting a blanket, giving cats eye drops. So I think that's really all I have to share with you. I hope that this is as good as when I recorded on Friday, and I really hope that I fix the settings on my camera because I am not recording this for a third time. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for any new viewers, for all of the existing viewers, for my family, for always watching and supporting, and hopefully I'll see you in about a month, maybe less, depending on what I have to share. So thanks. Bye.
Why are you being shy? This is a Hera. Can you give me that paw? Yeah, that's a good girl. And that's Sage, who gets very jealous. Can I have your paw? Oh, that's good girls. That's a good girls. Head. Hi, babies. Yeah, you gonna be on the podcast? That's good. No jumpies. Hey. Hello. Nori. And the poppers. Yeah.